What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and in this video, you probably guessed it, we're going to take a look at Sandman in PvP. In this first team up, we're going to be using him along with Moonstone. Moonstone is able to ground flying targets for his level 9, but there is another option. You can buy the Erupting Augmented ISO 8 in the store for 5 gold. This is going to cause a ground attack to hit targets with flying. Luckily, that's not the only benefit that Moonstone gives Sandman. Her Gravity Syndrome also increases the damage of melee attacks. Not to mention it applies Exhausted to the enemies as well, and all that for a quick action, well, as long as you have the quick and powered ISO 8 equipped. Then, since Moonstone was almost killed by the opening attacks, I'm going to use Blinding Attraction and go phased. Luckily, we dodged Blast from the past, and now that we're phased, we will be immune to most attacks. The AI Psylocke once again wastes a turn, there's nothing new there. And now with my agent we can start to help out Sandman's finest hour attacks, first by using the Neurotrope. Next I'm going to try to place obsolete tech on the enemy agent. This will prevent them from using the Blackest Void and removing our buffs, plus disorienting us. This action counts as a debuffed tech, so obsolete tech from the Mystic will lock it out. We're also going to score a pretty big hit at 36k. Okay, and apparently Psychic Amplifier doesn't count as a tech, but the good news is they are exhausted. Since that's the end of their turn, it's going to be Sandman next. First, we'll want to use Gathering Sand. It's a quick action that applies Rising Up. It also gives him Sand Disperse, so he has a 50% chance to avoid attacks. Now let's see what type of damage an opening Hammering Blow can do. I'll target Quicksilver since he is the biggest threat right now. And we do 158,000 damage and finish him off. That's amazing for a first attack, and trust me, Sandman will have you saying, Havoc who? Hammering Blow is like a plasma wave without the kicks like a mule. If you don't already have this character, by the end of the video you're definitely going to want him. Now with my agent I do have a few options, but I think I'm going to go with the Mystic and try to take out the enemy agent. As long as we hit, we should do enough damage, and either way we should at least lock out their tech moves. I would hate for them to get off a light Fantastic at this point, or even to wipe our buffs with the Blackest Void. Alright, and it paid off. Now it's just up to Sandman to hopefully do a spectacular finish. That's not too bad, but he does hit even harder than that. Now we're going to use that team one more time, and then we will switch it up. It looks like Moonstone gets the first turn, so let's go ahead and use her Gravity Syndrome. If you didn't have the Erupting AISO, this would ground Storm. By the way, it looks like this team is running a Static Shock type of setup. I believe the enemy agent has the Spark Plugger in his hand. They also have the Mighty Thor and Storm. Oh, and apparently they have Storm's EISO, which starts the battle with Protective Shroud. That's one I still haven't been able to get. But with Moonstone's first attack, we're going to use Blinding Attraction. Unfortunately, we missed their agent, but we are phased. Now the enemy agent uses the Elixir of Recovery, then the Shepherd's Staff, and apparently they have a bunch of quick action items. And there goes the Blackest Void, so Moonstone's going to come out of phased already. Still, we're going to pay them back with our agent, but first let's use the Neurotrope. Next I'm going to use the Blackest Void and disorient them, plus removing Protective Shroud. Then let's see what the enemy Storm does on her turn. Well, she's going to use Protective Shroud again, but at least this time it takes up an action. On our Sandman's turn we're going to use Gathering Sand, and then I'm going to use his AoE level 9. It's a catastrophic hit that has pressure points and blinded. It also can do quite a bit of damage, but we don't have that many stacks of True Grit. Still, Sandman is an absolute beast, so I'm willing to bet it's still going to hurt the enemy team. So here goes our Sand Spikes. And as you can see, it does severely hurt all 3 of the enemies. Thor's Summon Thunder really doesn't hurt that much, and then Forceful Personality takes him out. With Moonstone, rather than charging up Big Bang, I'm going to risk Disoriented and attack their agent. I think a Blinding Attraction should do it. And there we go, we did knock him out. So now there's only Storm remaining, and I figure I might as well use the Dragon's Foot, which is capable of doing a follow-up attack. None needed, so moving on to our second team up, it's going to be Sandman and Juggernaut. We're facing a pretty funny team in She-Hulk and Luke Cage. The main point of this team is the fact that Juggernaut will increase the unarmed melee attacks of Sandman. By the way, for his first attack, we're going to do enough to take out a nearly 60k HP agent. I have to say that's pretty insane, but I want to get back to this team for just one moment. Yes, we are using 2 bruisers, but I think it's okay for this season. Blasters are going to be a huge liability, and I don't think we're going to see that many of them. There's just going to be way too many tacticians out there. And plus, if you're running these 2 together, you can also use a tactician. Hopefully you have the tactician empowered costume, or at least a tactician power armor. But anyways, in this battle we finish She-Hulk with a counterattack, and that's pretty unfortunate because Sandman would have done a huge hit. So I'm just hoping we can make up for that one in this second match. In this one we're going to be facing Quicksilver and Psylocke, another really popular team. Since follow-up attacks are going to be so big this season, you may want to use Heroic Age Iron Fist. If you are lucky enough to get the Raph Shank, you may want to equip that as well. Or you can use it instead of Iron Fist, and that way you can switch up your team. Now after using Gathering Sand, let's go ahead and see this first turn potential once again from Sandman. I'm going to go for their agent since he's up next. And we do 112,000 damage. I think it's unfortunate, but I really think Sandman's going to get nerfed. Hopefully no one from PD watches this video. But anyways, on my agent's turn I'm going to use the Dragon's Foot, and hopefully we do get a follow-up. If you do enough damage to Psylocke, she'll just waste her turn by using a shield, and there it is. She'll also shield someone else if they're hurt enough. But unfortunately for her, Juggernaut breaks through shields with his Mountain Crusher ability. So there goes another 100k plus finish, and we still have Sandman up next. I tell you what, this season, my enemies better sleep with one eye open, gripping their pillows tight. Sandman is going to be rocking Quicksilver to sleep in just one moment. First, a missed blast from the past, and then a 207,000 damage hammering blow. With that, we're going to move on to our final team and final fight of the video. I'm using Angel with Sandman for the obvious reasons. He gives Finest Hour buffs, and he also gives extra turns. That's a pretty scary combination, but it does look like they're going after Angel really hard. As long as he lives, we can use his heal ability, and he does hold on with 2500 HP. First, let's make sure there's not going to be a blast from the past, and then I will use Rapture. Next, I'm going to use Angel's level 9 ability, that's going to heal him back to full health or really close, and give him Guardian Angel. The next time he's KO'd, he'll be restored to 25% health. Now Psylocke's going to reuse Mental Coordination, once again wasting her turn. And you pretty much know what Sandman's going to do. I'm going to use Gathering Sand, and then Hammering Blow. It would be really nice to knock out their agent before he uses that Coulson's Revenge. We have Grit ×2 and Strengthened, so that should help us out. A blast from the past hits us for 17k, and then we do knock out their agent with an 80k hit. Now this time on my agent I'm using the Scroll of Aknazsak. That's mainly for Indomitable Spirit. You know those Finest Hour buffs, and also the Bashenga's Blade? Well, this is going to help us keep those buffs. Plus, since I'm wearing the Tactician Empowered costume, I can make it a quick action. All you need to do is have the Quick Empowered ISO 8. Next I'm going to use the Bashenga's Blade. Now Sandman's attack should be pretty beefed up after all that. The enemy Quicksilver is going to use a tag team, which Sandman does dodge. Then Angel will counterattack. Next he goes for a Blinding Punches. Then Angel's actually going to counterattack once again. So yeah, I know that's pretty sick that he's counterattacking Quicksilver's attacks. But hey, you have to love the Bashenga's Blade. It's one of the best weapons you can get right now. And looking at all those buffs on Sandman, you can probably tell this one's going to be over. One more hammering blow and that should be a good way to end it. I hope you enjoyed our first look at Sandman in PvP, and I want to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, good luck, and take care.